guys, Bladerwire here, bringing you once more a StarCraft English commentary, and now I'm commentating on pretty much the only tournament that is going on at the time. This is the MBCgame All-Star Skins first edition, and since the players are now having kind of a spring break after the OSL, MSL, and the GSI that have all just finished with the Great OSL final right now on Saturday, the players have earned themselves a good old break, and of course they want to stay fit for the upcoming tournaments, and they're doing this with a series of fun games with no real stake actually, and these are the All-Star Skins matches. Pretty much what you have there are really good players that meet up and, you know, kind of have fun games. How this really works, this tournament, we have 7 sets, and for each set you get a number of points, and the points are always increasing with the set. I believe for the first 6 you have 100,000, 200,000 till 600,000, and the 7th and the decisive one is 900,000, meaning that unless one player wins all the 6 ones, you will have a decision of who will win as far as points are concerned in the 7th. So even this rating system, you can see it's only made to have as many sets as possible so as to also please the viewers. So now that you've understood how pretty much it works, we've got Hwasin here as brown Terran at the 12 o'clock position, and Stork as I believe that was yellow Protoss at the 9 o'clock position on Zodiac. And Zodiac is a pretty balanced TVP PVT map, or TVP, how you want it. We've got a 15 to 14 ratio, meaning a 51.7% chance of winning for Protoss, and really it's very, very balanced. I've seen a lot of good Terran victories, a lot of great Protoss dominations, so really I cannot say that one of these players necessarily would have a big advantage on this. I've also looked at the player infos. These two guys are in PVT against each other 2 versus 2 to 2, so 2 wins on either side, and the last match that they've played was in the GSI Invitational, where Stork managed to win over Hwasin on Bakmagaji. So gate gas core for Stork, very, very normal build, so nothing fancy from him. And it seems that Hwasin is also going for a rather normal strategy. First sending this probat to scout, and I think he now finally does what he should have done against Flash, and Flash definitely he forgot to scout. I mean, he really scouted very, very late, or in that second set that he lost due to that rush, he didn't scout whatsoever. So you know, really it's very important to scout. Bisu showed how useful it is for a Protoss to send an early scout to get that information, and yeah, unfortunately for Stork, he's going for the wrong direction. He's actually now going cross map to scout, scouting the 3 o'clock position. That's kind of strange, because you know, you usually see clockwise or counterclockwise, not cross map scouts, but whatever. First Marine is out, meaning that probe will have some difficulty getting in. The SCV is also scouting. The SCV might find Stork actually quite late, because he seems to be scouting clockwise, and I don't know, I think also the probe is also heading right now for the 6 o'clock position, so very, very late scouts from both, and I doubt that they will be able to get in their opponent's base and find out anything, simply because they totally got everything wrong. You got the 2 Marines on one side and Dragoon on the other, so it's going to be hard to believe that that's going to happen. In the meantime, Factory with attached machine shop going up for Hwasin, and yeah, also upgrading that very important Dragoon range, also produced that first Dragoon and set him a little bit further from the expansion to deny any scouting. So still, these scouting probes are really, really poor scouting in this game. They won't find absolutely anything. Not yet, definitely. And a robotics facility in the meantime going down for Stork. So yeah, you know, on a map like this, I guess drops can be very, very useful, especially because you got these platforms and kind of small ramps, so drops to get past this obstacle, especially when siege tanks are up on the ramp, it's very useful for Protoss. In the meantime, something's researching. I probably guess that would be siege mode for tanks. Then again, I'm not sure. And this is very useful for Terran on Zodiac, as in some other maps as well, that they can build the command center within their base and simply float it very, very shortly over to the expansion, thus not risking anything whatsoever. In the meantime, a group of 3 Dragoons is moving out, and they're probably going to take out this scouting SCV that finally knows now where Stork is supposed to be, but will not get in to get that information because there's these 3 Dragoons, and yeah, it's immediately annihilated. 4th Dragoon coming out. On the other side, you got 4 Marines and a tank, so no decisive attacks can be made by any of the players early on. Observatory for Stork, probably because he feels that he wants to know what Hwasin is exactly doing, and since he was not able to get that information now, he's going to rely on those observers to tell him what Hwasin is doing. In the meantime, those tanks are being sieged, and as I said, it's a very useful also for Terran because they can siege tanks up on the ridge and also defend the expansion from that position. So he seems to have a very, very consolidated position, Hwasin, at this point, and so does Stork. But Stork, however, may find himself a little bit behind in economy, simply because Hwasin is almost done with his command center and will float it up in a minute. You can see those SCVs heading out to start mining, whilst Stork has not even started his nexus. So Stork, he's kind of, maybe further with his army and, kind of military stuff, because he's got 3 gateways pumping, and not as much. And actually floating that barracks and might produce some Marines from that, interestingly enough. I've seen this a couple of times, barracks being placed and pumping a couple of Marines from that. In the meantime, it seems that Stork is going in for an attack with his larger army. However, that tank is crucially sieged up. Tank is almost getting taken out. Tank is getting taken out. 3 more siege tanks up on the ramp, and it seems that Stork will not be able to inflict enough damage. He has to retreat and go for the mineral line. He definitely needs to do something because he's behind in economy, and he needs to also cripple Hwasin's economy, and the red sniper has to find an answer to this. Sieges that tank over there. So well done from Hwasin, because he had enough tanks in the 2nd and 3rd row to ward this attack off. Otherwise, it could have well been GG. With that one. Finally, the Nexus being planted down by Stork, and some new SCVs coming to replace the lost ones for Hwasin. Two factories in the meantime. Also, the engineering bay is up. Yeah, probably feels that he needs that detection in case Dark Templar will come. Why not? And yeah, the observatory. The observer, sorry, I often call observatories. I don't know why, I'm noob. And now he also knows what Hwasin is doing exactly. He can see everything. That's very, very important scouting information for him. But in the meantime, the first missile turrets are going down, and probably not necessarily because of Dark Templar, but also very importantly because of drops, to try and prevent drops coming in. And you can see that yeah, you've got there also the Republic support bay in expectation of those of the Reavers. And yeah, 2 more factories actually being built, so heavy mecha going from Hwasin. And if I'm just gonna look at these player stats really quickly, yes, another gateway. It seems that Hwasin is 113 to 87 all in all, 56.5%, and versus Protoss 21 to 21, so 50%. Guys, fairly equilibrated game, whilst Stork is definitely kind of a better player, 151 to 98, 60.64%, and versus Terran 58 to 35, 62%. So he seems to be the better player in this matchup. Will this bring him the victory? I'm not sure. Definitely he needs to inflict some damage, and I think this drop may have been scouted by that barracks, and he is indeed waiting. He is waiting for it with those vulture bikes, denying the drop and having very well placed that missile turret behind the mineral line. And now he seems to be going for a drop. He might try to Zealot bomb. Zealot bombs the tanks. Zealot bombs the tanks and only manages to take out one. The second one is also taken down, but there's tanks in the 2nd row crucially and up on that ramp to